Hello there. Welcome to the McKinnis Family Workshop. My name is Robert McKinnis. You just caught me making a shopping list before I head down to the local cooperage. Now, if you don't know what a cooperage is, that is where a cooper works, who is a person who's going to make containers made out of wooden staves held together by either a wooden or a metal band. Now, these containers have been around for thousands of years. Our first depictions of them are in Egypt in the year 2600 BC. But they quickly spread from there, and the idea and the shape and the process of making them has not changed at all throughout that time. So we need to go to our local cooperage, and every community is going to have a general one who's going to make any type of containers that the community needs. Some larger industries, however, are going to have specialized coopers, and we can separate coopers into four main categories. We have a dry cooper or a slack cooper. Those are a cooper who's going to make containers for shipping dry goods. Then we have a dry tight cooper, which is a cooper who's going to be making containers that are for dry goods that need to keep moisture out, such as things like gunpowder, flour, sugar, just anything that if you get moisture in, it's going to ruin the contents. Then you have a white cooper. That's going to be a person who's going to be making containers for they're going to hold liquids for short periods of time. Good examples of those include things like buckets, wash tubs, things that are going to hold it for just a little bit. If you have water in them for too long, they're going to start leaking on you. And then you have a wet or a tight cooper, who's going to be making containers that will hold liquids for a long period of time, such as barrels and casks and other such objects. So we have to go to a local cooperage to get these type of containers because we don't have the tools here in the shop to make them. A cooper does have some of the tools that we have, just a little bit more specialized. So for example, a cooper will use things like an axe and an adze. However, his axes and adzes are going to be a little bit shorter because he's going to do it with his hands more. They're going to be more hatchet shaped in size, and they're a little bit heavier and they're going to be a little bit beefier. They'll also use a furrow and a furrow club like we have here. They will use a straight furrow like this one, but they also have furrows that have a curved blade on them, and they'll use the furrow to make the wooden staves. And depending on how big their container is, they'll have different furrows of different curves to cut out each one of these staves. They also have draw knives. So we've got draw knives like this one. However, their draw knives are going to have more of a curved blade to them, and that's going to help form the outside edge of the container. And sometimes they'll also have a draw knife. They'll have like a little lip that comes off on it, and that will help to form the inside curve of the barrel. And again, they'll have different draw knives of different sizes depending on what size of container they're trying to make. They also have special long joiner planes to help make sure that all these different slats are nice and tight together. The one thing that they have that we don't have the capabilities of making is making the bands. So most coopers are going to have the ability to make a wooden band like what's on this bucket right here. And they do this by using a steamer. So when you put wood in steam, the heat and the moisture from the steam causes the wood to become flexible, and you can actually bend it into different shapes. So a cooper is going to take a long strip of wood, they're going to put it into their steamer, wait for it to steam up. They'll then form it around a form, then they'll just attach it to their container to hold it together. Now if a cooper wants to use a metal band like on this wash tub right here, most coopers are going to have to go to the local blacksmiths to get these custom made for them. However, a large cooperage, such as those around shipping ports, may have their own forges and their own blacksmiths to actually make these in-house for them. So that's what a cooperage does. Now we're just getting ready to go into town to go put in order for some new buckets and some new barrels because the maple sugaring season is coming up here soon. So we'll see you next time as we keep getting ready for the maple sugaring season.